Hey guys, hope you're good. I'm just going to run through a short video outlining how we 7x this beauty brand's revenue over the holiday period. And as you can see from this Klaviyo screenshot here, in the month of November, we generated nearly 100k of their revenue from email marketing, which was just under half of that month's brand revenue. So a recent client win of ours that I'd like to talk you through. If you like what you hear and you want us to take a look at what you're doing, maybe suggest a couple of improvements, please book in a call with the team here and we can chat. But getting to it, the brand I'm going to talk about is Azio Beauty, and they are a premier luxury ladies skincare company, as you can see here. We came on board in late spring, early summer of 2022. And as you can see here, this is a Klaviyo dashboard for February. And they were generating, before we came on board, about 10% of their revenue from email marketing. So it was managed by a prior agency. They were doing an okay job, but a lot of kind of room for improvement. And then, yeah, over the holiday period, this is that 49% screen grab. This is where it's coming from. So jumping into what we actually did for these guys, I think there's kind of a number of different steps here. So the first step was redrafting email designs, and I'll come on to and show you some of those in a minute. We then worked on growing their email list, so capturing more of that Facebook ad traffic. You can see the form submit rates here, very high for this business. We then rebuilt Azio's flows, and I think, look, the key point to note here, really there's two, but one, it's the volume of flows. So we've got over 15 flows that are generating this business revenue. They are touching each point of that kind of customer journey on website and nurturing that customer to make a purchase decision. Not only are we focusing on kind of generating revenue, but we're also helping the business out in kind of other non-email related areas. So you can see here a user generated content flow, and what we're doing is we're sending this to people that have purchased from the business, and we're encouraging them to send in photos and videos of them using the product that Azio can then use in their Facebook ads to show social proof on social media or on their website, and that will lower their cost per purchase from on the kind of paid side. Aside from that, we're also doing things like requesting reviews, which combat kind of negative reviews on things like Trustpilot. Again, show more social proof for the business and encourage people that are doing some kind of background research, encouraging them and nudging them over the line to buy from them. So that is what we did on the flow side. And then in terms of the campaigns, we implemented a consistent campaign calendar that was not discount based. So a big no-no that I see kind of many brands do is, yes, they may be sending consistently, but they're sending a lot of 20% off. Here's 30% off. It's Friday. Woohoo! Get our stuff cheap. Yes, it works in the short run, and yes, you can kind of milk your list for a bit of cash, but long run, you're just kind of cheapening your brand. So we implemented a content-based sending calendar that provided real value to the recipients. And we were sending, consistently 6 to 8 plus, sometimes more, but 6 to 8 campaigns every month. And we wouldn't just send those to the same audience. We're sending them to different parts of that kind of full email list. So sometimes it's going to the most engaged people. Sometimes it's going to VIPs. Sometimes it's going to people that are, coming up for replenishment of their beauty product. All these different segments of the list we're sending to ensure that we're not spamming people. So in terms of the actual email designs, I think the main focus here, and if I just kind of pick one and zoom in, the main focus and what we kind of did differently to what the business had before was kind of mobile optimizing everything. So it's a super simple, sleek design that really does capture the brand vibe. And is pushing people to engage and click back to site, make that purchase. So we kind of completely overhauled these design templates. And yeah, they really kind of improved, and click rates went up to kind of 2 to 3%. So real kind of value driven there. So the holiday period can be a kind of difficult one to generate a lot of revenue from email. So typically the kind of Facebook ad costs are going up. Yes, you can use that kind of paid social angle to generate more traffic on site. But how do you use email? I think that's the question that a lot of brands have. So I think the best way to do that is to explain what we did for Azio. So I've got on the screen in front of me all of the emails that we sent in November for Azio. And I'll just scroll across now. So typically we send kind of 6 to 8 campaigns per month for Azio. But as you can see here, in November we sent 15. Now, why is that? Well, it's because there's a lot of competition for inbox space. So you've got brands sending emails out left, right and center. Everyone's trying to take advantage of kind of people being in that holiday buying spirit. And they're trying to capture that consumer dollar. So really, volume does help you stand out. People forget to purchase. They drop off a lot more, and they're just generally inundated with marketing. So you need to stay top of inbox, and you need to come with a kind of unique angle. So our kind of goal here was to drive as much revenue as possible for Azio. And they had a site-wide 20% off discount, which we really pushed via email. And then we had a unique twist to it where on the last few days where everyone is kind of increasing their discount, we're actually decreasing our discount. So you can see that step down from 20%, 15, 10, 5, and then sale ads. And that was the kind of tactic that we used for Azio. So it's volume, and then it's a kind of twist on the discount. So we are sending and we're touching on each part of their list. So people that, are recently active, people that have come to the end of their kind of subscription, we're hitting them. But then we're also going kind of deeper into the list. So maybe people that purchased last year at this time, we know they're holiday shoppers. We're targeting people that maybe have purchased at a discount before because we know they're discount shoppers. And we're using all these different segments within the list to drive proper revenue. And yeah, that had real success. So if we kind of look back, we took this business from 10% or less than 10% of revenue coming from email before us, and we took them to 7x of that, to nearly 100K, right, in under a year. And I think the key takeaways for me are kind of listed throughout this document. But this translates to a return on email spend. So a return on our fee of over 54 times, which is insane. You don't get this on any other platform. And we're not just generating revenue, right? We're helping the business across the board. So more content. How can we help their kind of standing on the review side of things? What else can we do to help them? That's kind of our thought process. I think this just goes to show the kind of care and attention that we show for our customers. And I just want to be clear that this wasn't like a November Black Friday flash in the pan. This is consistent across all of our brands. A lot of our brands saw kind of close to 50%, and 90% of them saw north of 40% of their revenue coming from email, which is just unheard of. You don't get this care and attention at other agencies. And I thought I'd put this in as well. So you can see here, this is revenue coming from email in the first few days of January, right? No discounts. People are not holiday shopping anymore. And we're doing 37%, nearly 20K of revenue per week in 7 days, 20K of revenue coming from email. And that brings me to the end of this case study. So please, if you do, find this useful, book in a time to talk with us. We're very friendly. We'll see if we can help you. There are plenty of other brands that we've kind of done this for, and we're happy to talk about brands specifically in your space. Maybe at a different revenue level. We've got brands doing $1 million a month, and we've got brands doing 10,000 a month. So we can help you, and I hope you found this useful. and I think we can deliver more time if you book in a call to speak with us. Thank you.